Welcome to the Screen Podcast. Thank you for joining us. This is episode 7 of our Cannes 2026 podcast dailies. We're really so happy you're joining us for these. I'm Wendy Mitchell, contributing editor at Screen, and I'm back with America's editor, Jeremy Kay. Hi, Jeremy.
Hi, Wendy.
And listeners of the pod will, of course, know our reviews editor, Nikki Baughan, but this is her first appearance from Cannes 2026. So welcome, Nikki.
Hi.
So, Nikki, I think let's start with you. Regular listeners will know you like a bit of a genre film. I believe one time you were on here talking about a haunted wig factory or something. So it seems like quite a few very solid genre offerings here at Cannes this year. Can you talk about a few standouts for you?
Sure. Well, it's a great time to be talking about this because I've literally just come from a screening of Hope, which is the Na Hongjin competition entry that everybody's super excited about because we don't know anything about it. All we knew is that it was genre and it was going to be exciting. And it's a difficult one to talk about. I don't want to spoil it. I feel like you need to go and see it on a big screen with a big audience. I had a hell of a lot of fun with it. It is proper genre. It is big screen genre entertainment.
Is there blood in it? Can you tell us that?
There is some blood, Wendy. Yes, there is some blood. There is a lot of screaming.
His last
fun.
film was called The Wailing. What do we expect? We need to continue the whales, don't we?
There are a lot of whales. Yes, it's a cracker. It's a cracker. I don't think it's going to be a runaway, everybody loves it cracker. I think there's going to be some different opinions, but it was bang in my wheelhouse. So I had a lot of fun.
Well, that sounds great. That's now firmly on my list. I was waiting to hear the first critical reaction before I booked my ticket. So now I have it from you. What are some other ones that have stood out for you in terms of genres?
Well, it's interesting that there is another genre film in competition, which is Sheep in the Box, the Correda film, which has screened. It's not a bombastic film like Hope. It is about a couple in near future Japan who adopt a replicant of their dead son, and it's a mix of robotics and AI. We've had quite a few films and documentaries on this topic of whether AI can actually ever replace a loved one. It's got some really interesting themes and some great performances. It's incredibly restrained. I know it's divided our critics. I think some people are going to love it. I think some people might be a bit like, well, we've seen this done before. I think we're going to see this theme an awful lot in the
Yes,
I
feel like I've already seen a few similar or sort of AI or robots or something coming into the family. Yes.
They're usually going a bit mad on killing sprees. That doesn't happen in Sheep in the Box. It's far more kind of drama and emotion. And interestingly, Yon Sang-ho is mounting a project called Paradise Lost with a similar theme of a mother replacing a dead son. So it's obviously on the minds of filmmakers how we tackle AI and how we tackle it in a human way. But that leads me neatly into Yon Sang-ho's film that's playing here, which is, of course, Colony, which is a ripping good time. It played in the Midnight Strand.
I saw a lot of people queuing up for that midnight screening, and they looked so pumped. And I was so ready for bed, and I wish them well. Yes.
It was a proper midnight screening. It's crowd pleasing. You know, he did Train to Busan, obviously, and the follow-ups, Peninsula and Seoul Station. So he knows how to do well choreographed zombies. He knows how to do the gross out stuff, and he knows how to do it does not let up. The action is incredible. That's a fun time. Obviously it's sold widely, so people are going to have a chance to see it, and I think horror fans will love it. I think for me it proved that he still has fun with the genre as a filmmaker, and he might be working in the same area, but he's doing fun stuff, and that's what you want with zombies, right? You want it to be fun.
I like my zombies with a side of fun.
Yeah, and there's some pretty, there's some Romero influences in there. There's some Last of Us influences. It's about contagion and information and surveillance. So it's a very resonant film. I really enjoyed it.
It's obviously not in competition, but we probably have to mention Teenage Sex and Death at Count Miasma, if only so I can say it's the best soundtrack of the year. It's the first time I've ever liked The Counting Crows. But no, I just loved. I mean, Jeremy, you were on here talking about Jane Schoenbrunn being such a unique filmmaking voice. This film really solidifies it. And Nikki, as you probably grew up loving horror like the protagonist of this film, right?
Well, I grew up on The X-Files, of course, which was my gateway into horror, really. I was a very young person when The X-Files was on. And much like the protagonist of this film, who grew up watching horror films, and it became sort of her gateway into filmmaking. And of course, this film has got Gillian Anderson in it, playing the protagonist of this defunct horror franchise that this hot young filmmaker is trying to resurrect. The two of them together, it's Hannah Einbinder from Hacks. The two of them together on screen are so fun and fascinating. But there's also some really deep
Hmm.
stuff in there
Yeah.
about queer identity, about the sort of the way that fear and desire can be really potent bedfellows. And if you're into your slasher films, they know they're slasher films. Jane Schoenbrunn, they know what they're doing with it. Again, I'm saying this a lot. It's a fun time. That's
Yeah,
what you
I've
want.
had so much fun watching this film because I watched it here in Cannes. It was exactly what I needed at that moment. And I think this could be one of those like the cool kid hit of the summer for Mubi. Jeremy, have you seen that one
Absolutely.
yet?
No, I haven't seen it. I can't wait to see it.
Yes, because you're a Jane fan. I know. Nikki,
And
any other genre hits you want to mention?
yeah, I mean,
Or
I want to give a
misses?
shout out. I know, well, actually, I've been quite lucky with the genre so far. I wanted to give a shout out to a couple of smaller titles that people may not be seeing. One of them is in midnight. It's called Species. It's by a French director called Marion Croller, pardon me. And it's a bit substancy. It's about a
Yeah, I saw
young
this one too. Yeah. It's
yeah,
fun. It's very well
it
done.
is fun. And it's also one of those ones that you go in and you stay for like the gore and the scares. And again, it's about an infectious disease, which seems to be a theme at the moment in our post-pandemic years. Um, but it's got some really interesting ideas about Gen Z in particular, young people's relationship with the workplace and what
Yes.
they're expected to do, how they're expected to contort themselves into these ridiculous, highly pressurized jobs to survive. So it's really, really interesting. She's a really interesting talent to watch, I think, Marianne Crawler. Um, Drawing comparisons to Julia Decanao as well. So yeah, really, really rate that one. And then there's another one that I have seen. I can't talk about it because it doesn't screen until next Thursday, but it's a premiere. It's called The End of It. It's a Spanish future set film
Oh, yeah, this is
starring
more of a
Rebecca Hall.
sci-fi. Yeah.
It is
Right? Yeah.
sci-fi. Yeah, Rebecca Hall, Gail Garcia Bernal. Can't say anything. Review will be on screen. I recommend you read the review.
I also saw that film and I also can't talk about it, but look forward for that review once the embargo lifts. Thank you, Nikki. Jeremy, I know you're a genre fan, but you don't have time to watch many films here. We will get your hot take on some of these genre titles later in the year. But for now, we have some exciting, well, I was going to say news. It's not quite news yet, but the market has come alive. Not in a zombie way. Why don't you tell us, Jeremy? It's an American film that's gone down really well.
Yep.
As of the time we're recording this, a deal has not been done. But do tell us more.
Yeah, it's finally the market's finally erupted into life in a very limited way around one film, which is Jordan Firstman's first film. It's the Uncertain Regard entry Club Kid, and as of a day ago, a number of companies are chasing it. A24, Mubi, we hear Searchlight. They're going after it. The bidding I hear is up to possibly 8 figures, which would
Okay.
suggest at least 10 million. I think it's for a worldwide deal. Now, I understand that Netflix are not in the running anymore, so that means we're looking at potentially a theatrical release, which is good news for theatre
Great.
lovers. And I was talking to some buyers last night and some sellers, and they were saying that they think it has particularly strong appeal internationally, which is really great fun. I mean, Wendy, you and Nikki can probably talk about it more than I. Haven't seen it, but briefly, it's about a New York club promoter who's just kind of burned out after a decade of clubbing, and then discovers he has a 10-year-old son, and it's supposed to be a really, it's a gay drama. It's got gay queer drama. It has club themes, but it's supposed to be really feel good and broad playability. So hopefully that deal will come to fruition in the next day or two. But as far as we know, that's the only one really that everybody seems
It's
to be
really
chasing.
hot. Yeah, I've heard that's hot too. I
Yeah.
haven't seen it yet, but yeah, my friends told me it starts out sort of quite druggy, clubby, and then it ends up with a bit of heartwarm, which is nice. It's funny because that film, when Thierry announced it during the lineup, that had not been on anybody's Cannes tracking list. So that is really exciting when a film that we weren't that aware of 2 months ago, especially at this scale for a Cannes film, is now the hottest ticket in town. I love it. Yeah, anything else, Jeremy, that seems to be heating up?
Well, our colleague Rebecca Leff has been writing about another film today, which buyers seem to be loving as well, which is the competition entry A Man of His Time by Manuel Mara. And apparently buyers were so keen to get in to see this film in the Palais that they went into the Palais on the pretext of using the toilets, which are inside the cinemas, as a way of already being in there to skip the line to see the film. So, as we know, buyers will do anything to see the film they want to see. And
Naughty,
let's
and
see,
I love it. I love this new strategy. Yeah.
innovative. Let's see what news comes from that one.
Great. Jeremy, I know there was another story that you thought was really interesting that you've been reporting on, which was Cineverse. And we mentioned them very briefly the other day, but they're working with Guillermo del Toro. Can you tell us a little bit more about their model and how they're working with GDT, as I like to call him?
Yeah, I think this is really interesting. This is an American company. It used to be called Cinedigm, and it's led by a former studio top executive called Chris McGurk. So he's seen how the studios do things, and they have a way of using all their channels. They own about 30 channels of all types of genre, about 65 podcasts. So they have direct communication with fans. And they had a hit with the Terrifier horror series. So for Terrifier
Oh,
3,
I didn't realize that was them. That was such a
yes,
out of
that's them.
not out of nowhere for them, but yeah, it took us all by surprise, those big numbers.
So in late 2024, they released Terrifier 3 in the States. And they spent something like $500,000 on marketing it, which is a very low amount. And it grossed about $53 million. And
It's a good return.
Chris McGurk, yeah, return. So Chris McGurk is the head of the company, is saying, studios these days, when they take a film, they will spend tens of millions of dollars marketing a film, as we all know. Guillermo del Toro had heard about that. And when the rights to Pan's Labyrinth reverted to him, and he was thinking, well, let's re-release it. Who am I going to work with? He actually rung up Cineverse and said to Chris, I want to work with you. And that's what's happening. So they're going to distribute it starting later this year, October the 9th, Guillermo's birthday. And they'll do it in the States, and Studio Canal are selling it internationally. And let's see what happens. They're going to be going to Comic-Con in San Diego next month. Guillermo's going to be there, and they're going to be promoting it, get all the fanboys and girls on board, and we'll be watching closely to see how it goes.
Right. That is probably in my top 10 all-time films, Pan's Labyrinth. I think about it so often. Do we know if Cineverse, obviously you said Studio Canal is working on this film internationally, but do we know if Cineverse might have global ambitions, or are they happy just really nailing the market in the US?
I think at the moment it's the US, and I think one of their focuses is just getting more and more big ticket films like this. They don't just do genre. They've got lots of family channels. They've got the Air Bud, former Disney franchise, and the rights to Air Bud Returns went back to the producer, who's now come to Cineverse to release that. And
As you will imagine, I am a big Air Bud lover, Jeremy.
it doesn't surprise me, Wendy. Doesn't surprise me. And then they are going to have more franchises to deal with. I can't say what they are yet, but we'll be announcing those later this year. But some really big franchise names that are also coming to Cineverse. In cases where the producers rather, have got the rights back, and they want to get bigger bang for their buck, and they want the filmmakers to make more money.
So, as we know, Cannes continues onwards. I'm wondering if you can tell me, either one of you, something you're looking forward to before you leave town. It could be a film, a party, and a meal at Al Shark. And I'm going to remind everybody that tonight is the Global Production Awards that Screen hosts. It's always a great time. I'll be there. I have some new sequin trainers to be adding a touch of glamour to the stage. Nikki, do you have anything you're looking forward to? I'm sure lots of films.
Well, other than your sequin trainers, Wendy, which are now shot to the top of my excited for list. Yes, it's films. I'm really looking forward to Fjord in competition. I'm really looking forward to Minotaur in competition. And continuing on the genre films, Bent, I'm looking forward to Victorian Psycho in
Yeah.
Regard, and which has got Micah Monroe in it, and it's set in a Gothic mansion. And I mean, what's not to love about that, right? And Roma Elastica in Midnight, which is Marion Cotillard as a 1980s actress shooting what may be her final film in Rome, which sounds
Ooh,
fabulous. So
that
yes,
sounds
it's all
great.
films for me. Films and your
Okay.
trainers, am I?
Okay, great. Jeremy, are you going to get to see some films before you leave town? Or if you could see a film, what would it be on your list?
I mean, I'm actually really, if I could see, and I will see it eventually, I'm curious to see Ira Sachs's film, The Man I Love, which sounds really interesting. I spoke to the producers before the festival, and that sounds good. And I mean, I really want to see all of the films, but I'm also going to be at the Global Production Awards. I won't wear my sequin trainers, but that's
Thank
always a
you,
fun
because it would
screen
just
event.
clash.
We can't
Yes.
clash. We can't clash.
Yeah.
Looking forward to that, and then just hitting the Crozet, having a few drinks with the team, and seeing friends. And it's just great to be here and pop into all the events.
Yeah, I do think tonight is the team screen after the GPAs. Might be going to La Pizza, always a festival favorite. So if you're angry with one of Screen's critics or want to pay tribute, you could probably walk past La Pizza tonight and see if you catch somebody. But play nice, everybody. We're trying our best. Thank you so much, Jeremy. Thank you, Nikki. Just interesting news stories. We're keeping an eye on those deals. Stay tuned to screendaily.com for all these reviews and the deals. And thanks again for joining us at the Screen Podcast. We really appreciate you tuning in, especially if you're here in Cannes and so busy and so stressed. To spend a few minutes of your morning with us means a lot. So thank you. I should steal Matt's sign off from yesterday. I forget what he said, like, may the rosé keep flowing and the sun keep shining. Stay classy, Cannes. And we'll see you again tomorrow morning. Thanks to everybody at Screen who makes this podcast possible, especially our producer, Ellie Calnan, and our web editor, Orlando Parfit. See you tomorrow.